Live from the Zoom studios, the 17 and Me show starring Ambassador Jeff Rivero, inviting you to join our special guest, Tiffany Shlain. And here we go.
Welcome to the 17 and Me, United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals show. We're going to have a great show tonight. We have Tiffany Shlain from the Let It Ripple Film Studios and also the founder of 50/50 Day. That's right. Let It Ripple, getting to 50/50. Tiffany is a huge supporter of women being involved in local government. Also, she is a big supporter of girls in STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. Speaking of math, I remember when I was in school, my math teacher asked me, if 5 people gave you $20, what would you have? I told him a really sweet bike. I remember my 3rd grade teacher, Mrs. McIntyre, when I was taking a test one day, she said to me, I hope I didn't see you looking at Kurt's paper. I replied, I hope you didn't either. I had some really mean teachers too. I remember one teacher would go to the beach just to test the waters. Wow, that's the last time I let you guys in for free. I remember a time a teacher said, I've had to send you to the principal's office every day this week. What do you have to say for yourself? I told her, I'm glad it's the last day of the week. We're going to have a really great show tonight. Tiffany Shlain is going to tell us a lot of what she has going on with her Let It Ripple. And also, we're going to get to ask her some questions about her new book, 24/6, asking people to unplug from their electronic devices one day a week. I'll see you right back after our sponsors commercial, the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals. See you back soon.
We can be.
We must be
the first generation
to end extreme poverty.
The generation
most determined
to fight injustice
and inequalities.
The generation that saves the planet from climate change.
And this is how it will get done.
The global goals.
A 15-year plan
For everyone.
everywhere.
With no one left behind.
We will live in a world
where nobody
anywhere
lives in extreme poverty.
Where no one
goes hungry.
where no one wakes in the morning
asking if there will be food today.
We will live in a world where no child has to die of
diseases we know how to cure.
And where proper health care
is a lifelong right for us all.
We will live in a world
where everyone goes to school.
And education gives us the knowledge
and skills
for a fulfilling life.
We will live in a world where all girls and all women have equal opportunities
to thrive
and be powerful
and safe.
We cannot succeed if half the world is headed back.
We will live in a world
where all people can get clean water
and proper toilets
at home, at school, and at work.
We will live in a world where
there's sustainable energy for everyone.
Heat, light,
and power for the whole planet.
Without destroying the planet.
We will live in a world where economies prosper.
And new wealth
leads to decent jobs
for everyone.
And we will live in a world where our industry,
our infrastructure, and our
best innovations
are not just used to make money, but to make all our lives better.
We will live in a world
where prejudices and extremes of inequality
are defeated.
Inside our countries
and between different countries.
Where people live in cities and communities
that are safe, progressive,
and support everyone who lives there.
Where we replace
what we consume.
Planet where we put back
what we take out of the earth.
We live in a world that is decisively rolling back the threat of climate
change.
Where we restore and protect the life in our oceans and seas.
Where we restore
and protect
life on land,
the forests,
animals, the earth itself.
With peace between and inside countries.
Where all governments are open
and answer to us for what they do at home and abroad.
And the justice rules.
With everyone equal before the law.
Where all countries and we their people
work together.
Partnerships of all kinds.
To make these goals a reality.
These are the United Nations global goals
For sustainable development.
Let's get to work.
I first met Tiffany a few years ago at the California STEM Symposium in San Francisco. I was fascinated to hear about her Let It Ripple film studios and about her 50/50 day project that calls for a gender balanced world. Tiffany, can you explain what 50/50 day is and your passion behind that project?
I was really interested in making a film that explored the 10,000-year history of women in power and what was it going to take to get to a more gender balanced world. And so I made this 20-minute film called 50/50. And it really starts with the premise of asking people all over the country how many women do they think led countries in the world? And no one even came close to the answer. And it was much bigger than what most people thought. And it really prompted me to understand how important it was to share this narrative, this larger history of women in power. And from that 20-minute film, we decided to do 50/50 day, where schools and organizations all over the world had their own events. They would premiere the film, we made discussion kits, and we would link them all together, kind of like on a Zoom before Zoom was really big. This was several years ago. And it was very exciting. We also do an event called Character Day that looks at the social science and neuroscience of character development, and again, links events all over the world. And then now we've been focusing on screen use and how to create more balance in people's lives so they're not on screens 24/7, and just recognizing that that's a really good practice to bring into your lives, that living on the screen all the time is perhaps not the best way to think, contribute, and connect.
At UC Berkeley, you received the Eisner Award for your directing and producing, and your letitripple.org showcases your film projects. Tiffany, can you explain what your passion was behind film? And is there any advice or words you can give our audience on how to overcome negativity or roadblocks that may make them stumble or keep them from their goals?
Well, growing up, I was actually supposed to be a doctor. My father was a surgeon, and he got me the book, The Making of a Woman Surgeon, 4 times. And I thought kind of that was my only option. But my family also loved going to the movies every week, and even through my parents' divorce. And it was like the one consistent ritual in my life. So when I went to college, I went to UC Berkeley and was studying sciences and the arts together. And then I took my first film history class, and I thought, this is the way I want to make change in the world. I want to make films. You can imagine that didn't go over very well in my household. I was going to be a filmmaker instead of a doctor. But I really felt like I think everybody has a unique magic and perspective they can bring to the world that's completely unique to them, that no one else has, because only you have lived your life. And you need to find the thing that is your passion and hopefully can also help you make a living. And I believe that does follow when you find your passion, and work really hard and be kind, and good things will come. But it wasn't like a smooth path where I want to be a filmmaker and then boom, I was a filmmaker. Right out of college, right after I won that big award at Berkeley, the Eisner Award, I just thought I could do anything. And I tried to make a feature film, independent feature film, and I completely failed. It was super embarrassing for me because I just felt like there was I'd been so bold and I'm going to be a filmmaker, and it was such a public fail. And I got depressed, and I had too much pride to kind of go back to my parents to ask for support. And then I slowly got little jobs to get out of debt over my film. And those jobs usually were in technology, because I also loved, this was before the web, I loved working with computers. And I very early on saw the very beginning of the web, and I got a small contract job at this company, again, just climbing out of debt on one of my movies. And then basically someone showed me the first website And I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be so huge. And shortly after that, I founded the Webby Awards. And again, this was me working at a big corporation. I was just an independent contractor, but they saw how hard I worked and heard my ideas. And I took this idea and ran with it. And it now is considered the Oscars of the internet. I ran that for about 10 years. And then I wanted to get back to filmmaking combined with the web to make social change. So I sold the Webby Awards about 13 years ago. And I started a film studio in San Francisco that has morphed into the Let It Ripple film studio. And so we do films combined with the web to talk about important subjects around neuroscience, social science, character development, gender equality, and now kind of healthy screen use. And I think all of my work really looks at when does technology make things better and when should you turn the screens off, and that will make things better. So that's a very, that's my life story in a nutshell.
I have a hot off the press, brand new print of your book, 24/6, Unplugging One Day a Week. I have to ask Tiffany, what's your method behind the madness? You're asking my students and colleagues to unplug one day a week. Can the book help them reach this goal? And what are some of the positive outcomes from doing this?
Yeah, so as you know, I love technology, so it's not in any way that I'm anti-technology. I just started to feel about 11 or 12 years ago, and most of your students aren't going to know this because they were brought up with the cell phones and all of that, but there was a time before cell phones, and when you stopped working, and you couldn't bring your work with you on a phone. And when the iPhone came out, it really started to blur every boundary. And you could always get school emails and work emails and notifications and so much. And I started feeling like I was just distracted all the time and I was never present. And about 11 years ago, my family and I decided to start turning off screens one day a week. And this is based on an idea that's 3,000 years old called the Sabbath or Shabbat. And mostly it's just only really religious people do it now. It's the fourth commandment, a full day of rest. But if you look at the commandments at their core, they are good ideas to live by. It's pretty amazing that this idea has survived 3,000 years, like yoga and meditation. So I am Jewish. I'm a cultural Jew. I'm not a religious Jew, but I started to bring this practice into our lives. And I am telling you, it has made our lives so much better. Like, I feel so much more creative on my day without screens. I feel more connected to myself. I laugh more. I sleep better. And I do look at creativity like an athlete. And my best ideas come on the day without screens by far. And I feel more productive the next day and the other 6 days. So, and in the book, I really hold your hand on, like, if you want to bring this into your life, how do you do it? And little strategies I do the other 6 days. Because here's the thing, is that I make a lot of films about neuroscience. Our brains were not designed to be like on 24/7, the way, going to bed, waking up with your phone, just like constantly in reaction to everything. And some of your best ideas will come when you kind of listen to your inner voice and quiet all the noise. And right now we're living in a way where, and you should all watch Social Dilemma. It's a documentary on Netflix. It explains why really clearly the business models for Gmail and Snapchat and TikTok and all, they're designed to keep you so you never go off the screen. So they're designing it that way to do something to you, and it's working. So by going off screens one full day a week, it feels like you get a little bit of the control back, and you're using the technology instead of the technology using you. And having one day a break from the news headlines, from email, even social notifications, you think, oh my God, what would I do without knowing what every one of my friends is doing? But it's incredibly liberating. And even my 17-year-old daughter would attest to that. It's everybody's favorite day of the week in my family. And actually I wish you guys could hear my teen daughter talk about it, because they'd listen to her much more than listen to me. But it's just, there's so many benefits. And I really walk through all of those in the book, 24/6.
The United Nations has Sustainable Development Goals for 17 problems that the world's facing. Goal number 5, gender equality, asks for a gender balanced world. And goal number 4 asks for a quality education. And both of these seem to parallel what you are trying to advocate for, Tiffany. Can you describe to our viewers what they can do to help promote 50/50 Day, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals when it comes to gender equality and quality education?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we're finding even during the pandemic, I just read an article in the New York Times about how women are suffering the most because at the end of the day, they're the ones that are mostly leaving their jobs to help support their kids at home. And a woman's work at home, you don't get paid for, but it's absolutely one of the most important jobs on the planet is helping to raise the next generation. So I think putting value and actually dollars behind what women do, like having paid childcare in our country would allow women to continue to contribute to society while also continuing to be parents. So there's so many things that we can think about and do. And I think it's very exciting that we have a vice president that's a woman. And the new administration that Biden, as he just announced, it's like half women, more than half actually. And I think that's really a positive development.
Well, Tiffany, unfortunately, our time is rapidly coming to an end. But I wanted to give you this opportunity to add any last words or words of encouragement to our audience.
Yeah, I had a hard time in high school. My parents had just gotten divorced, and I would not say those were the best years of my life. And afterwards were. So if you're having a hard time in high school, just know that many of us did, and it gets better. And I think the things that are hard for you make you stronger, and make you appreciate when things are better. So I mean, some of you might be thriving in high school. I mean, it's funny. I prepared my older daughter so much. I'm like, I really had a hard time in high school, and she's not. So it's okay. If you're having a good time in high school, that's great too. Obviously, with great teachers like you. But if you're not, don't worry. And if you don't know what you want to do yet, don't worry. There's time. I didn't really, as I told you in my story, even though I wanted to be a filmmaker, I couldn't figure out how to make a living at it. By the time I was 26, it all kind of came together. So. I'm 50 now. It's a long life. I'm really grateful of all the failures and different things I had to do to get to where I am, which I'm so happy about. But just the goal is you find something that makes you excited to get up every morning.
Well, Tiffany, thanks again for being on our show. I really appreciate your time. I want to tell all of our viewers out there, run out and grab this book, 24/6, Unplugging One Day a Week. I guarantee it'll improve your life. Also, to all of our viewers, thank you for showing up, and I look forward to seeing you on our next show.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Tiffany, for being on our show tonight. And if you would like to learn more about the 17 Sustainable Development Goals or teach it in your classroom, please go to the site listed below. Everybody, have a great day.